Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today, I'm looking at the Denver Broncos and ranking the top 5 players I believe are on their roster heading into 2021. But before getting to that topic, question for those of you viewing, especially the Denver Bronco fans out there. I want to hear from you guys. Comment down below who you want to see the Broncos draft in the first round of the upcoming NFL draft. The draft is a week away from today, and the Broncos have the 9th pick. So comment down below who you want to see them draft in. If that guy turns out to pan out and be a boom for that team, if it's a quarterback such as Trey Lance or Justin Fields, it could influence this list. But whatever the player is that you want to see them draft, comment down below. And getting into the topic, yes, there's 5 players, but there's a couple honorable mentions I want to say. One, got to start off with, Drew Lock is not making my list. Just looking at the pure talent on this roster, there are 5 guys on this team. I know more of what I'm getting out of than Drew Lock. He's still a wild card play. I think he could take the jump, especially if the Broncos invest in him and get him a positional player at number 9 overall, possibly an offensive lineman to protect him, possibly a wide receiver to throw to, or possibly an extra defensive player to help him on defense. I think if they invest in him, we could see Drew Lock pan out, but I think they're going to move off of him, or at least draft a quarterback to possibly move off of him, and therefore he's not going to make this list because I just don't know what he has. I'm not sure the Broncos are set on them himself. Another one, re-signed safety Kareem Jackson, I do think is a very good player for this Broncos team, but when you got Justin Simmons as your other safety on this team, the two do not compare. Jerry Jeudy, very good prospect, didn't turn out to be the number 1 receiver out of his rookie draft class, but he's still up there in notable names, and Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Chase Claypool, Jerry Jeudy. I like him around there with those guys, but he does not top the list, and he has a little bit of a Butterfingers issue. I think he's going to fix it. It was just a couple rookie mistakes. I think he will get there. He's got plenty of speed, that's for sure, but he does not make top 5 yet. And then another one, Noah Fant, very good playmaker tight end for the Broncos, who you could argue to be on this list, but he does not make the cut for me. I'm just very invested in the 5 that I have here. But to start the list and stop wasting your time, number 5 is going to go to newly signed cornerback Kyle Fuller from the Chicago Bears. Reason he's number 5, I think this is a guy that could easily fall off the list or easily jump up on the list. He had some pretty good years in 2018 and 2019 being a Pro Bowler, but he had a big drop-off year in 2020, and now looking at him on the Broncos, you could look at it one of 2 ways. He's in a new system. He's going to be able to revamp his career. He's in a secondary that has a lot of help behind him, and Kareem Jackson and Justin Simmons and Ronald Darby as well, so he might be able to revamp himself being in a Broncos defense and being on a defensive-minded team with Vic Fangio coaching them. Or you could say this is a trend, him dropping off in 2020. This is just the beginning. It's only going to get worse. Excuse me. But whichever way he goes, determine where he is on this list. But with him having a couple question marks and being a big variable, not exactly knowing what he is, he's going to be number 5 and not any higher on my list. Number 4 is going to go to Cortez Sutton. Very underrated receiver, in my opinion, in the NFL. This past year, I thought he was going to take a big year. Unfortunately for him, he did get injured, but in the year before, he did have 1,100 yards on kind of a unexpected, quiet year. It was just Drew Lock's rookie year, so who's to say if it wasn't Drew Lock's rookie year, Cortez Sutton couldn't have gone out and got 1,400, 15 yards. That's a bold take, but I do think this guy has this type of talent. He has great hands, good speed. He's very reliable, and like I said, he's an underrated type of receiver that you just don't talk about enough, kind of like a Terry McLaurin when it comes to under-the-radar type of guys. I like Cortez Sutton, and similar things such as Kyle Fuller. He could get higher on this list, but coming off of an injured year, I have him staying at number 4. But I think having more reps under his belt and possibly having a better quarterback situation, number 4 fits him well, and he could go higher. Number 3 is going to go to Bradley Chubb. Started off his rookie year amazing, broke Von Miller's sack record. He had 12. Von Miller's rookie sack record, had 12 sacks his rookie year, and he's kind of dropped off a little bit since then as well. But in his defense, Von Miller has been banged up as well, so at times it was just Bradley Chubb dealing with the 2-on-2s, or the double teams, and when Von Miller is there, he's typically double teamed, and Bradley Chubb can, I don't want to say easily, but most of the time, win those one-on-one matchups. But when Von Miller is not there, they know most of the focus needs to be attentive to Bradley Chubb. So I think getting Von Miller back, Bradley Chubb will up his game for sure, and we'll see some better numbers like we did his rookie year. They drafted him pretty high. They have high expectations from him, and I think having a pass rush again between Bradley Chubb and Von Miller will be great. And like I said, its overall team is going to be better with the better secondary. the offenses that the Broncos aren't going to be facing aren't going to be able to lean one way, whether it's through the air because the secondary is strong or run the football on the ground because the pass rush is good as well, and therefore Bradley Chubb and other guys on this list like Kyler Fuller are going to benefit from all around being on the same defense, helping each other out. But at number 2, I got Justin Simmons. This may come as a surprise excuse me, as to why he's not number 1 on this list. He's respectively a top 5 safety in the NFL. Broncos figured out a deal to keep him for a little bit, but I'm holding him back just because I'm very invested in number 1. Like I said, number 2, it's not like I'm taking anything away from the guy. He's still an amazing player. I still have him as the second best player on his team. He's right up there with other safeties such as Minka Fitzpatrick, Jamal Adams, Harrison Smith, Derwin James. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But he's right up there with those other caliber guys. He's a tier 1 safety. Like I said, they franchise tagged him, but they went on to keep him for a little bit longer, and he's really the captain of this team that's going to lead this secondary to success. If they want to make the playoffs, everything has to run through Justin Simmons, and that is a pretty notable achievement for him, and I think he easily deserves number 2 on this list. So number 1, if it's not obvious, is going to go towards Von Miller. A couple of these guys, I said they dropped off. Kyle Fuller's dropped off. Cortez Sutton's dropped off or got hurt. Bradley Chubb's dropped off. He got hurt as well in 2019. But Von Miller, he's had some banged up injuries as well, and he's not the same guy he was in 2016 when he won Super Bowl MVP. But when healthy, this guy is still one of the best, if not the best in the league. I don't think he's the best. I'm still taking today probably a TJ Watt or Aaron Donald, but Von Miller is still right up in there in the conversation with those guys, getting up there in age or not when this guy's healthy. And like I said, Bradley Chubb benefiting from Von Miller. Von Miller will benefit from Bradley Chubb, and I just think he definitely deserves number 1 on this list. Assuming everyone is healthy, I got to give it to Von Miller. I'm only ranking these guys for 2021 heading into one season, and just to me, if I was asked a simple scenario of a question of who I'm building a team around for one season in this very upcoming year, along for the Broncos players, Von Miller is the number 1 guy I'm taking from the Broncos team if I get to build around them for one more year. There's a couple better answers, such as Justin Simmons or Cortland Sutton or Bradley Chubb, who's a lot younger. If you're asking me to build a team for the long term, like I said, for 1 year, Von Miller is a guy. And just to reiterate the list, a couple honorable mentions, like I said, Noah Fant, Jerry Jeudy, Kareem Jackson, Drew Lock, Ronald Darby's another one I didn't mention earlier, but I am a fan of. And going through the list, Kyle Fuller, Cortland Sutton, Bradley Chubb, Justin Simmons, and Von Miller at number 1. He's getting up there in age, but I definitely think he owns the top of this list and definitely probably will lead this in sacks this year over Bradley Chubb, in my opinion. And if the Broncos make the playoffs, I said the secondary has to run through Justin Simmons, and he has to captain them well. Same thing goes for Von Miller, and I think he can do it. He has a playoff experience, and I think he has what it takes to possibly push for the playoffs for the Broncos. But no matter how good these guys are, the Broncos need to fix their quarterback situation. And to me, no matter which route they want to go, if you believe Drew Lock is your guy, that's fine. Give him the weapons he needs and see if it clicks. If not, cut your losses now and go with the Justin Fields or Trey Lance if you can. I like this Broncos team. I don't think they'll make the playoffs with the Chiefs or Chargers in their division right now, but if they go with Justin Fields or Trey Lance, they pan out to be the next big thing. I think the future is bright for this team. But like I said, comment down below your thoughts, guys, on who you want to see them take in the draft and your thoughts on my list. What do you think of the rankings? Do you agree? Do you disagree? And who do you want to take them to take in the first round? I like quarterback Trey Lance or Justin Fields, but we will have to see until draft day. Thanks for watching, guys. 2-minute warning.